Your Minnesota Vikings welcome the Dallas Cowboys into US Bank Stadium Sunday at 3:25. We'll break down that game right after this. After the biggest win of the season and the best game of the season to this date in the NFL as a whole, Minnesota Vikings took care of business in Buffalo, came away
Let's
with the win
go.
in dramatic fashion, and now we move on to the next test. You got Dallas Cowboys. It's a 3:25 game. You're gonna have Romo and Nance. It's nationally televised. It's the first step in a 5-day span of Kirk Cousins getting to just slowly expunge the primetime narrative. It's going from noon last week, 3:25, down to 7:20 on Thursday night and Thanksgiving. We'll break that one down next week. But this Dallas Cowboys game is going to be a test. Dallas has a lot of talent on both sides of the ball. Obviously, the last few years I think we played them the last 3 seasons, haven't we?
I believe
I know we
so.
played them in 2019. I
Definitely
know we
last year.
lost to them. Yeah, I think we played in the last 3 seasons. We beat them in 2019. We lost to them in
And we
2020.
lost from last
And we
year.
lost to him last year in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
We
So
all
4
know the
years.
Cooper Rush game, yada yada. We don't need to talk about that. But yeah, man, Dallas presents a ton of challenges.
Yeah, luckily for us, we don't play Cooper Rush this time.
That's true. We play Dak. We play the starter. So Dak, I mean, obviously, a lot was said when he got his contract. Like, did he deserve the money? Dak's a talented quarterback. I mean, there's no questions about it.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, this year the stats don't really show it, just because he, with the thumb injury, he is still working his way back from that. But he's talented. He's got a lot of talent on that offense. Obviously, we know the defense is stacked. We'll kind of break down some of these matchups later, but it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a really tough game at home. You got a good team coming in, so it'll be. I'm curious to see how the Vikings are going to respond after the high emotional ending of that game last week. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, dude. I think, man, hopefully we can just, hopefully, I'm hoping that we come from that game and we come out in this one swinging. Like, obviously, it's hard to not imagine us not score early, then do nothing in the middle just to win at the end of the game, like we have done every single time this year. But I've said this a million times. I'm really hoping like a game like the Bills. Hopefully, that gives us enough energy, momentum, and whatever else we need to come into this Dallas game and just win it. I just this is a really good team, probably the second best team we've played this year. Outside of no, I said that last time and I didn't think of the Eagles. Outside of the Eagles and the Bills, this is probably our third hardest matchup, and I just think it'd be pretty cool from like a media standpoint. If we come in here and we just win handily, because then nobody can really say anything. I think that's the reason why we're still not getting the respect, because we just haven't just straight up beat a team. Even though, like, if you can just finish teams, that's huge. Like that's all you really do need. But I think we need this big win. If we can get a win against Dallas, that we destroy them, and maybe not destroy, but just win handily. I think that would be good for the just from a media standpoint, I guess. And
Yeah,
that's what I'm hoping for. I want to just destroy a team. Obviously, we've been wanting that, but it'd be nice for it to be Dallas, I
yeah,
guess.
for sure,
But
for sure.
I am concerned about their pass rush, and I do think that is going to be the key to victory, and especially for that to happen without us needing to make a comeback, is if we can hold their pass rush.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's very, very, very fair. I mean, we saw what Kirk did last week with time. We've seen what he's done all season with time. It's when the things start to collapse in on him. He's gotten better at the scrambling a little bit. I mean, we saw him do it this last week. He put his shoulder down on a nice
The
run.
week before was a touchdown, right? Or is it
Yeah,
2 weeks?
2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. But I mean, he's gotten better at that part of the game. But man, with the premier pass rushers that this team has, it's gonna be
Mhm.
tough. So obviously, we'll get into that a little bit later. We did want to talk about a few key matchups in this game on the road to a Minnesota Vikings victory. So let's go ahead and jump right into those. The
Before we
first
do
one,
that, though, I want to thank everybody. Thanks everybody for watching the GG Sport podcast. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, get notifications get notifications for more of our videos, all that good stuff. We are also doing this show with Minnesota Sports Talk called the Skol Experience, and we go live every Wednesday for that, as well as our own live show every Sunday after the game, potentially Thursday. I don't know how we're going to handle the Thursday game, but just tap into that. We're doing all kinds of new stuff, I think, and yeah, it's going good. So subscribe and stay on track with all that stuff. But yeah, let's jump into this.
First big matchup, we all know it. Stephon Diggs, Justin
The
Jefferson
other Diggs we're gonna destroy.
versus Trevon Diggs. Obviously, we all know Justin Jefferson, second in the league right now. What does he have, like 1,060 receiving yards or something like that? Second in the league behind Tyreek Hill in the receiving yard category. We all saw this catch, what he did last week.
The Miami hasn't had a bye yet. Just mentioning
That's true. That's very true. I didn't think about that actually. Yeah. Then you got, of course, Trevon Diggs. So he doesn't have the gaudy stats he had last year. Obviously, last year he had 11 interceptions, but so far through this season, he's had 3 interceptions. He's got 12 passes defensed, as well as a 73 quarterback rating when thrown at. So his, kind of like what we're seeing with Kirk, like the gaudy stats aren't there, but man, the guy is still effective. We know he still can be a ball hawk. So this is going to be a premier matchup. I don't know exactly how they do with defense. I don't know if they have their cornerback shadow, but I'm guessing Trevon Diggs is foaming at the mouth to get one-on-one with Justin Jefferson. And I think we're going to see quite a bit of that matchup this week. And I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, we all know JJ. I think if there's one thing the national media recognizes is that Justin Jefferson is the best receiver in football. That's out there. Everybody knows it.
Oh yeah, no questions about that.
And I think that's only going to make this matchup just more fiery, more competitive. And Trevon just saw what we did to his brother's team last week. So this is a matchup that I'm really looking forward to. I'm really looking forward to watching.
Yeah, and Justin Jefferson D'd Stephon Diggs up last week. Stephon Diggs had that really nice catch that people wanted to call, probably was, some people would want to consider that one of the best catches, if not the best catch of the season. Maybe Pickens before his, until Justin Jefferson stepped up and had one of the best catches that you'll see in the next 10 years, probably. One of the best ever. It is the best ever, in my opinion. Sorry, it's the best ever. And now Justin Jefferson is going to go up straight up against his brother in Trevon Diggs and going to destroy him too. That's what I think. So I think Justin Jefferson's on one right now. I mean, if there's no way you go from that game he just have and not leave that with just insane amount of confidence. Even though he seemed very humble about it, he wasn't like he wasn't as jacked up as you'd think someone would be after something like that. Like he was, but he was like, I think even in his own head, he's just like, holy shit, did that just happen? Did I just do that over and over again?
For sure. But moving on to our second match up, we have the offensive line versus that pass rush that we talked about earlier. So as of this point at recording, we don't know what the status is of Christian Darrisaw. Still in the concussion protocol as of Wednesday. He did not practice on Wednesday. Obviously, I'm sure by the time this video goes live, we'll know a little bit more about his status. But if he doesn't play, Blake Brandel definitely played well in his stead. But I mean, Christian Darrisaw is the PFF's number 1 graded tackle right now. So in pass blocking. So he's huge. But Brian O'Neill, he's had one. He slumped in a game and a half this year, but he's back to where he normally was. The interior of that offensive line is spotty. Sometimes up, sometimes down when Ingram isn't tripping up Kirk Cousins. But there's a lot of talent on this pass rush. Micah Parsons has 8 sacks. DeMarcus Lawrence has 5. I forgot they have Dante Fowler, who I believe adds another 4 sacks there. They have another guy with 4 sacks. They have Clayton Vander Esch, who has a sack. So this pass rush, man, and it's just Micah Parsons is just such a game wrecker. It's you can't let him affect the game like he's going to. So I don't know if he's gonna line up on Brandel, you're gonna have to give him help. Even with O'Neill, you might need to give him help. I mean, I'm a little bit concerned. And then obviously on the other side, DeMarcus Lawrence is no slouch either. So, and this team almost had 3 pass rushers, but the other one, I don't remember his name. He left for Denver. So
DeMarcus Lawrence? No, that's one that they have.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Gregory? Randy Gregory. Yeah, Gregory. They could have had another pass rusher there as well. So at least, but this defense, man, this defense under Dan Quinn, who's probably going to get another head coaching job next season, it's fantastic. And it has been since he's got there. So I'm really curious to see how this is going to go.
Right. And the Dallas Cowboys have an 83.3 pass rushing grade, which is the highest in the NFL. So yeah, I mean, that's like the thing that's scary, because we do know that if Kirk Cousins gets too much. Like Kirk Cousins can do pretty well under a lot of pressure. I think he can especially lately, stand tall in the pocket and get throws off. But we know if he gets too overwhelmed, he can start making some bad throws and gets a little happy feet and all that stuff. And we just do not want that to happen. I do want to mention though that the Buffalo Bills have the second highest pass rushing grade with 83, so zero point 0.3 less than Dallas Cowboys. And for the most part, it wasn't perfect, but for the most part, we held them in check. Obviously, there was a couple big plays like Von Miller's sack on Kirk Cousins stuff, but Kirk Cousins stayed composed, especially at the end of the game. And that's just what we're going to need. And hopefully, we do have Christian Darrisaw because that would hurt. And I do think like if we can win the battle in the trenches, on both, honestly, we're gonna talk about this actually next, I believe, right? If we can win the battle of the trenches on offense and defense, I think that is key to victory for us.
But Von Miller, that sack was not fun to watch. But if it wasn't for that sack, we never would have gotten this. Sorry, I'm wrong. If it wasn't for that sack, we never would have gotten this. So Von Miller, thank you very much. Moving on to our next matchup here, we have, as Jamie talked about, the other side of the trenches. Our defensive line / interior / outside linebackers versus the Dallas Cowboys running game. Zeke is definitely more the traditional pounded up the middle and tire the defense out. But Tony Pollard, man, is having a fantastic season. I know since last year, a lot of people are saying he should have been the one starting over Zeke. But yeah, man, this is another part of their team that really scares me is like their offensive line. It's not what it was back in the day. It's not like the vaunted number 1 overall offensive line that they always have, but it's still very solid. And we're seeing that with their run game as well as the quarterback's getting some time to throw the ball. So this is gonna be a big part. Like if you can stop Tony Pollard and make Dak have to beat you, I think that's the key to success here. If you let Tony Pollard run all over you, oof, watch out.
Yeah. And I do want to mention, I completely agree. I think we need to stop Pollard. We need to stop the run game, and that is probably going to be the key for our defense. Other than that, we might not. We already lost Cam Dancer. We don't know if we'll have Evans, which means probably Andrew Booth will start. And we don't shadow anybody, so stopping CeeDee Lamb and the Dak and the offense, the passing game is going to be important. Another key thing I believe that we could have probably put on here that I think we could do is our run game versus their defense. And I'd say that because their run defense is their weakest point of their team, and they have a 47.7 passing grade. And just last week, they lost to a shitty team in the Packers who scored 31 points on them. So their defense ain't even that special if you let the Packers do that. But a big part of that was Aaron Jones, 24 carries, 138 yards and a touchdown, as well as A.J. Dillon's 13 carries, 65 yards. So almost 200 yards on the ground, which means I think Dalvin Cook should be a big part of this offense. We said the same thing last week. He was actually like our key player of last week, even though he didn't do a lot, but we ended up being right because that 81-yard touchdown is 81 or 71?
81.
That 81-yard touchdown, that set up everything. Like if that didn't happen at such a timely manner, like right at the end of the third when we're down 27-10.
Yep.
Right? 27-10, end of the third. And first play of that drive, boom, 81 yards, 17-27, and we still have a whole entire quarter left. That changed everything. So Cook is that guy, and he obviously can break one out at any time.
Right.
And I would not be surprised if we see something like that again in this game.
And on that play, I mean, I know we're going back to the last game here, but everyone wants to talk about Justin Jefferson, the catch of the century, a couple other really nice plays that he had. But that block that he had to spring that Dalvin Cook run was pretty fantastic. So, but overall, yeah, man, this we'll get into score predictions in a bit here. But this matchup, I think it's going to be a fun one. I think, as I said on Twitter after the last game, I'm in full enjoy the ride mode. I want to really try to tell myself not to get so up and down when they lose. Don't go into the fourth. If they're down in the fourth quarter, don't get so negative because they do always find a way to come back. Yeah. Just going to enjoy the ride. And this game, I think, is going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to end up being pretty close, just like their game was with Green Bay last week. But yeah, man, I'm really looking forward to this game. I think it's going to be a really fun one to watch. I love the fact that we're getting Romo and Nance as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm super excited. The fact it's a later
Yeah.
game, have the early afternoon games to really get you pumped up going right into this game. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun
Yeah.
one.
And it's like the Bills game last week. It's we're against a good team. So it's not like we feel like
Prove
we
it time.
need what's that?
It's prove it time.
Yeah, prove it time. But it's not like we need to like when we've played against not very good teams and then we let them get way ahead of us and we have to come back. That's really annoying. But against good teams like Buffalo, it was kind of like, if we even lost by a little bit, we kind of would have had like a moral victory in a way or whatever, even though that's bullshit and we don't even need that. But we would have, right? So even against Dallas, like if this game does, I want to win handedly. I'm hoping so. I've been hoping every week. Everybody's hoping that. I'm just trying to keep the hope alive, I guess. But if it came down to exactly how we've been playing against a good team that is Dallas, like I'm not going to be, it's more expected, I guess. So I think we can kind of be like, all right, we can chill out, and especially this year, we know like I'm not gonna lie, like even in the Bills game, it seemed impossible we would come back, and I really was like, it's probably not gonna happen, but I wasn't like completely out on it. I'm thinking like there's a chance. Now everything's possible.
Right.
Everything's possible. I don't care if there's 5 minutes left in the fourth and we're down 2 touchdowns. I'm like,
right,
we'll come back. We've seen worse. We can't get you literally almost can't get any crazier than the Bills game. So
everything's possible except for a number one spot in the power rankings. Thanks, CBS.
Yeah.
Thank you, NFL Network. Thank you, ESPN. Thank you, Mike Florio, for actually understanding it and not hating your own team for once. Anyway, let's get into score predictions for this game, Jamie. What do you got?
So we'll go score predictions and player predictions. I've been rolling with 31-24. I got us up by 7. Hopefully handily. By handily, I mean handily for the Vikings, which mean we just take the lead and we never let it go. Not like we just destroy them. I don't think we're going to destroy them, but I'm hoping that we just come in, score the first 2 drives, and then from there on, it's, just maybe back and forth a little bit after that. Players. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna have 2, one on offense, one on defense. On offense. I'm going to go with another touchdown, and I'm gonna go 100 yards rushing by Delvin Cook. I do think it's gonna be a big rushing game. I think JJ's still gonna be crazy, but now that's just an obvious choice. On defense, I think Andrew Booth is gonna get his first interception of his career.
All right,
that's my prediction.
Wow. Okay, cool. I'm going to go 27-24 with Greg Joseph kicking the game-winning field goal. It's going to be close all the way through. It's going to be a fun one to watch. My player, I'm going to do one offense, one defense as well. I think Kirk O'Chains starts to roll this. He's going to get this first like nationally televised game. He's going to go for 300 yards, no interceptions. I don't know how many touchdowns, but he's not going to turn the ball over at all in this one. He's going to make some good decisions. Defensively, I think Patrick Peterson keeps up his hot streak. I think he gets an interception on the defensive side of the ball. So
okay.
I'm looking forward to this one. I think it's going to be a really good game. We want to know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts on this game down in the comment section below, and we'll see you guys on Sunday breaking down this game.
Skol Vikes.